Hello, Shortcuts. Stephen here. This is video one for Wednesday, October 18th. Price list will go out at 9 p.m. sharp. And this is a list of Japanese presses of great records that I will be pricing at $35 or under. So this is a list of 12 records on special offer, effectively. All of them are near mint vinyl, and most of them have near mint sleeves, and some have near mint obi as well. So there you go. 12 records at $35 or less. Here we go. And don't think that these are going to be SH1T. They're not. They're good. Here we go. Now, I don't know how many of you bought tickets to see this young man in November. I know I have. And for my money, this is by a long way his best album. This is Ram. This is the Japanese first press on hard cardboard gatefold. 1971. To my mind, he tried to top this record, but he never did. From the Gentle Barbs to John and Yoko and the opener, Too Many People. This record has some of his best songs, including, for example, Uncle Albert / Admiral Halsey, which I think is obviously a love song to his hometown. The Backseat of My Car, and others. This record is amazing. And it's on the Black Capital label. And I'm sure he'll play some of those tunes in a month or so. So there's record number one. I would say, arguably, and I know it's arguable, maybe some of you might say Band on the Run or My Brave Face, but I think that's his best record. I don't think there's any debate about the best record of this next guy. I don't rate this guy anywhere near Paul McCartney, but he has his fans. In fact, there are two, but I'm going to show you his best first. I'm pretty sure it's 1978. This is Billy Joel's The Stranger. I am not, by any stretch, a Billy Joel fan, but I can appreciate this record. It's melodic and tuneful and clever and all those things that I really like. Maybe it's 1977, actually. But what this is a breakout record. This is the record where this guy knew he had it, and he delivered. He smashed it. It sold squazillions, and it set up his career. And what was interesting, if you read the history of Billy Joel, that after that record, he tried to replicate the success of The Stranger with various other records. They all had their fans, but none caught fire until he released this record, An Innocent Man, Uptown Girl et al. So what you've got there are two of Billy Joel's best records, Japanese first press, near mint, with obi, $35 or less. Pretty good, I think. All right, now this next guy had a number one single, somewhat unexpectedly. He went to London in the early 70s, kind of following on the coattails of Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters, who went over there and played blues sessions with some of the greatest British musicians of the time. And Chuck Berry followed suit. So this is Chuck Berry's London Sessions. Again, hard cardboard gatefold. Absolutely immaculate. And why did this record become Chuck Berry's commercial high point, particularly in the UK? Well, when they were in the studio, they all started playing this blues lick and this kind of lascivious song that was then edited down into a 4-minute single. On the record, I think it's 12 minutes long on the record. But the 4-minute single of My Ding-a-Ling went number one everywhere. And this record became his commercial high point, if not his artistic high point. There are some great blues workouts on there. I'm trying to remember which musicians, actually. I wonder if it says on the inside who joined him. Ian McLagan played piano. Yeah. And side 2 features a live performance recorded in Coventry, of all places. It's actually really good. So there you go. Chuck Berry's London sessions. So that got me thinking, what other live sessions could I put in this $35 or less bucket? And there was one standout. I love this record. Mike Bloomfield and Al Cooper played on Bob Dylan's Highway 61 Revisited. They led the electric revolution. You can see the Japanese here. This is the Japanese first press of the Super Session. Mike Bloomfield, Al Cooper, and on side 2 of this marvelous record, Stephen Stills from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Wow, he is incredible. You can hear the sheer bravado of the playing, and this record sold thousands, millions of copies. It was a massive hit. Fantastic record. So now I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to put a couple of debut albums into this pot. Records that I think are superb, and the Japanese presses are wonderful. And I thought these could be a good addition to the $35 bucket. They're quite different, and that's why it's fun. All right, we've heard from Billy Joel. What about this? Elton John's debut album on hard cardboard gatefold. Again, opening track of this record. There's a little bit of spine damage. You can see that there. But other than that, it's fantastic. How about your opening song being your song? Absolutely. What a statement of intent. I really like Border Song on this record as well. And so there you go. It's on this unusual black label. I can't remember the name of the Falster. I don't know why it was released on that label in Japan, but that is the first press of Elton John's debut album. And this isn't the first press, this is a repress, but it's still great. The soul classic from 1966, Hold On, I'm Coming, by Sam and Dave. You can see, actually this might be a first press. I'll double check before I put the list out. Sam and Dave basically challenging the status of Motown, which was kind of the pop soul heartland of the US, by playing with effectively Booker T and the MGs and creating this great southern soul sound known effectively as Memphis soul. What you get on this record is one of the greatest guitarists of all time in Steve Cropper, and others, and so you get a genuine soul classic, and there you go. in fantastic condition at $35 or less. There's the lyric sheet. So, this also got me thinking, because a lot of the soul records from this era were effectively compilations of singles and B-sides and maybe some filler. The records that kind of make it through the, I guess, the passage of time have more than that. And Sam and Dave's definitely does. But this compilation from 1976, I'm going to put up next. This has the distinction of being the first RIAA ever platinum certified record, and then went on by many estimations to become the highest selling record of all time. This is the Japanese first press of the Eagles' greatest hits. Now, you can't tell from the 2D imaging, but this is like a textured sleeve. It is spectacular. I remember my mum and dad playing this record to death. We had the cassette in the car. My dad had a purple Ford Sierra, and this was his go-to record, the Eagles' greatest hits. Now, I am no Eagles aficionado, but I do know this. That record sounds incredible. Now, there are 4 to go, and they're all different. So I was going through all this, and I realized I didn't have any female artists, so I thought, well, I better fix this. So I picked 2 of my favorite female artists, and maybe not quite their best albums, but certainly up there. We have Pearl, Janis Joplin's, and this is the quadraphonic pressing of that kind of classic record from Janis. But the one I'm going to talk a little bit about is this record. I love these hard cardboard gatefolds, and they really do justice to the vision of Kate Bush. This is Never Forever, Kate Bush's 3rd record. I believe it was her first to go to number 1, and it was off the back of hits like Babushka and Breathing. A really phenomenal record. What a talent, just ridiculous. But these Japanese pressings of Kate Bush are pretty fabulous. So there you go, $35 or less. So then I was thinking, well, you haven't had any pop on the list. So when I think pop, a lot of you will know that I have a go-to for pop, and it's Hall & Oates. I bloody love this record. Private Eyes is amazing. It just is. I can't go for that. Well, I can go for this record. It's incredible. And I always talk about when the OB is integrated. It's just wonderful. So that is Private Eyes, Japanese first press. And then I thought, well, you can't do a $35 or less Japanese press list without some jazz. So the final record is this. I love this record. It's really cool. Now, it's on an unusual label, so I'm actually going to take the record out of the sleeve to show you the label. You see that? The specialty label. This record was a hard bop hit back in the day, but it is one of the more obscure records to feature the talents of some Shortcuts royalty, and that Shortcuts royalty is here, Mr. Lee Morgan, one of the greatest hard bop jazz trumpeters there ever lived, as good as Miles Davis. And I love the sleeve notes on this pressing are worth the price of entry alone. It also features Wynton Kelly on piano, and he plays some of the coolest piano jazz, complementing Al Gray on trombone, Billy Mitchell on tenor sax, Lee Morgan trumpet, Charlie Persip on drums, Paul West on bass. Billy Root on baritone sax, and the baritone sax is quite a distinctive instrument on this record. But my favorite, Wynton Kelly on piano. The opening track is 10 or 11 minutes long, and it's called Dishwater. Dishwater, yes. Let me just double check. Dishwater, yes. Oh my god, it's 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 really good. There you have 12 $35 or less. I imagine they might go pretty quickly on Wednesday, but that's all part of the fun. Any questions or any thoughts, give me a shout. Now, my t-shirt might give you a clue as to what's coming in the next list, but I hope you find that interesting. I know some of those records are, canon records, and so there's often not much interesting to say, but I thought that, I thought I might do that for you all. So let me know if you think it's a good idea, if you'd like to see another, and thank you for watching. As always, please subscribe or leave me a comment or send me a message just so I know this is all worthwhile. And thank you all for watching if you got this far. List 2 is a cracker.